I have the San Francisco 49ers. They got up to a big lead against the Detroit Lions. They tried to mix in the rookie Trey Lance. I know they kind of slipped away and they allowed Detroit back into that ball game, but I saw enough from them. I think Jimmy G's motivated to play well. They're hoping he could stay healthy. They've got a lot of members of that defense back. I believe in Kyle Shanahan. I think they've got a strong season ahead of them and certainly a good start.
Yeah, I mean, they are definitely a very, very strong team because just 2 years ago, they are just removed from the Super Bowl and then had a injury-riddled 2020. So, the only thing that the 49ers are lacking right now that might kind of concern me is their running back, Torrey, what's his name?
Mostert?
Yeah.
Mostert, yeah.
He got put on IR.
Mozart,
yeah. No, he got put on IR, so that could be the only red flag for me a little bit, but I definitely like the 49ers at 10. Tori, thoughts on that one?
Honestly, I think they should be a little bit higher.
Okay.
The Niners look good.
Yeah, they did.
This is a team that was everybody kind of made fun of, but literally they were down legit 9 starters on their defense last year at one point. So this, like I said, this team is 2 years removed from a Super Bowl. People are taking this team way too lightly, I think, this year. It's like I said, I have them as the worst team in the NFC West at 12-5.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if there was 4 teams that even got to double-digit wins. It just usually doesn't happen, but I'm trying not to rate them too high or too low. I definitely saw some power rankings today when I was kind of doing my research that had them in that top 5. So I didn't want to overreact too much to week 1, but I like what I've seen so far.
All right. Who do you got coming in at number 9?
So number 9, they dropped a few spots, even though they lost to a very good team. I have the Cleveland Browns. It seemed like they had that game in hand. They were up 22-10. They weren't able enough to score enough points in the second half. Also, they got burned for some long touchdown runs. The cheetah Tyreek Hill burned them there a couple of times. I don't want to hammer them too hard for losing a game to a team that a lot of people consider to be perhaps the best team in the NFL. It's certainly top 2 or 3. However, I think it was a real opportunity for Cleveland to make a statement, actually win a season opening game, which they almost never do. And it just felt like a game that slipped away from them. So they dropped 3 spots to number 9 this week.
Tori, what are your thoughts on that?
I would agree with that one as well, just because you're playing the back-to-back AFC champions. You took them to the limit. You actually had the game in hand and then kind of slipped away. But it's the Kansas City Chiefs. There are so many weapons on that team. Can you really fault any team that blows a lead to them? No, you can't.
All right, number 8.
Okay, number 8, I got here we go. Green Bay Packers. They look terrible in week 1. However, it's just one game. I didn't want to overreact too much, so I did have them dropping 4 spots. I had them 4th in my original rankings to number 8. I think they're going to bounce back. They're playing the Detroit Lions Monday night. That's usually a get-right game for a lot of teams. No offense to any Lions fans that are out there. But I definitely think it's a great opportunity for the Packers to get back in stride. Obviously, the rest of the teams in that division also lost. Rodgers looked really poor. He didn't look good at all, but the defense didn't look good. It was just a total team loss. So disappointing, but it is just one game, and I think they'll find their stride.
So just to clarify your power rankings, just because some people do a week-to-week power rankings here, so you're doing a cumulative throughout the season power rankings, correct?
I'm trying not to be too structured about it, but I that's how I had them at the beginning, and I didn't want to. I guess I am. Yeah, I didn't want to react too much and move teams like up 10 or 15 spots in one week. It just seems a little too the sky is burning kind of reaction. So that's what I did. Some people might not like it, but get at me, I guess, on Twitter.
Well, the problem is the sky is burning in Green Bay. Like, they are the worst team in the NFL right now, hands down. So for even considering that I have them in the top 10, I would take the Jets, Eagles, and Falcons all over the Packers right now. That's why the Lions are going to win by 17 points on Monday night, just throwing it out there.
Jacksonville lost to Houston by 16 points.
Houston's a good team.
Sunday.
Houston's a good team. They're an 8-win team.
Well, we'll see.
Welcome to
We'll see if they're
what we
in my
deal with
top
on a
10.
weekly basis.
Throw those
Welcome.
hot takes like inferno, just
Uh,
flying
he is-
around me here.
So one comment here, Soup Boss says
He's the albino version of Stephen A. Smith.
Soup Boss says that the Browns shouldn't have slipped, even though they lost, but they played the Chiefs great. I mean, the Chiefs are, I believe you had them at number 2 last week. Do you want to defend the Browns slipping at all?
I mean, you don't stay in the same spot by losing games. There's no sympathy points in the NFL. There's teams that pass them that won games on Sunday. So to me, they're still 0-1. And if you want to talk about, pride points or looking good in a loss, then I mean, this isn't a beauty pageant. It's football. So they still lost, and that's why they dropped. So
Okay. Coming in at number 7.
Number 7, I got another team that slipped down from a pretty high perch, the Buffalo Bills. It seemed like they had the game in hand against Pittsburgh Steelers. It was a defensive battle, but unfortunately they couldn't score any points. It seemed, well, other than a couple of field goals in the second half. I think Pittsburgh's defense looked really good, but Josh Allen also was pretty shaky in a couple of moments. The special teams obviously was a big play with the block punt touchdown, which really allowed them to pull away in that game. I don't want to hammer them too hard, but I had them dropping 4 spots in these rankings. Pretty big bounce back opportunity for them on the road against a division opponent, Miami Dolphins. So if they fall to 0-2, they're most likely going to continue to fall in these rankings, but we'll have to see what happens. I still have faith in this team. Disappointing start certainly, but I actually like Pittsburgh better than most.
Yeah, I think we all had them kind of at 8 wins, 9 wins type of season. Tori, any thoughts on the Buffalo Bills coming at number 7?
They should be ranked right there because I don't know how you have my Packers in the top 10. I have them at like 32 right now.
It's
like
it's a long season, man. I don't know.
Typical Packer fan. Sky is falling after one game. Till Aaron comes out and says RELAX, relax.
Great
it's just
spelling.
one game.
He's got to have a new catchphrase for this season. I don't think he's come. It was the relax. Didn't he say something else? We're going to run the table. He
said run the table. Yeah,
he's got to come up with a new thing, maybe.
Maybe haircut.
A haircut would be nice.
He's
looking
homeless.
Yes. He does. He does. Like bags under his eyes. Like I don't know. I didn't.
Shailene not letting him get any sleep at night, or what's happening with that?
Maybe not.
Not
maybe he's all worried about the wedding.
I mean,
all right. So
he was on Tuesdays with Aaron with McAfee today. So
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Did he have massive bags under his eyes and a big old cigar, or no?
Oh. No, that's AJ. AJ Hawks always got the cigar.
All right, so
always got that cigar.
Just to recap the power rankings so far, at number 10, he has San Francisco 49ers. Number 9, Cleveland Browns. Number 8, the Green Bay Packers. Number 7, the Buffalo Bills. Who do you got coming in at number 6?
Number 6, a team who's very impressive in week 1, moving up 4 spots, New Orleans Saints. 38-3 blowout, like I said, of the Green Bay Packers. Jameis Winston looked great. 5 touchdowns despite only 148 yards passing, a really weird game for him statistically. He only threw the ball 20 times. They were great on defense. He really impressed me with his ability to protect the ball. Again, only 20 pass attempts, but no interceptions. He said that his favorite play of the game was a throwaway, which I thought really displayed a lot of his maturity. Right. I think he has the ability to, protect the ball a lot better. Certainly avoid 30 interceptions. I mean, that's what he did a few years ago. If he can keep that even to say 18 or something, they have a chance to be a lot more productive offense. They still have a lot of good pieces there. And I loved Green Bay in this game, and obviously nothing went right for them. So I had to reward the Saints for that good performance. Have to give them some credit. It's not just all Green Bay being bad. It was New Orleans doing some things really good as well.
Yeah, they looked really good on the defense side as well. So, Mr. Wallace, just to add some aspect to why Tori's getting upset, because Mr. Brandon Combs says that Winston is a top 10 quarterback, and they have a last dab challenge happening. Explain that challenge, Tori.
So if Jameis starts, if he has a losing record, Brandon has to do the last dab. If he has a winning record, I have to do the last dab. I don't know if you're familiar with what the last dab is.
Well, I have so many questions. I don't know No, I don't know what that is. Can we get a quick run? Like quick?
Look,
Yeah,
watch
definitely.
it, watch
Or-
watch YouTube videos of Hot Ones, the TV show. It's a YouTube
Oh,
show,
the
Hot
last
Ones.
tab. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep. Now I know. The context I needed. Yeah, I've seen a few of those. It's a hilarious show, and
yeah, I
that last
love
one
that show.
seems killer. So wow, you guys are braver than I am. I don't think I'd be able to handle that.
We have a
And
wheel of death, so welcome to the man hour. So
oh,
if you
great.
if you want to jump on our if you want to jump in our weekly picks, the loser of the week gets to spin the wheel of death, and they have to do one of the challenges on the wheel. For example, one of them is you have to do you have to chug a bottle of syrup. And the other one is you have to put a marshmallow in your mouth every minute you are on the segment of the show. So it's just a lot of fun
That's
things.
hilarious.
So, but coming at number 6, we have New Orleans Saints. What about number 5?
Number 5, I got the Seattle Seahawks. They had a pretty impressive win over the Indianapolis Colts. It's a game they were certainly favored to win, but I really like the passing attack, Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett, and DK Metcalf. One of the more underrated duos in the league, I think. Rashad Penny got injured. What else is new? That always seems to happen. But Chris Carson is a really good back as well. I like this defense. I like Pete Carroll. Another kind of dark horse team, maybe unsung team. People maybe didn't think they were a Super Bowl contender, but I think they're kind of lurking there in the NFC, and they're prime for a playoff run.
Tori, what are your thoughts about the Seahawks jumping up 2 spots from week 1?
I have them going 13-4 and finishing second in that division. Like I said, that division is that good. Like if you could literally tell me any one of those 4 teams is going to win that division, I'd be like, okay.
Well, the Cardinals, I haven't really talked about them, but they look great. They blew out the Tennessee Titans. A lot of people thought they were the class of the AFC South, which is looking like it could be a pretty weak division. But they won that game by 25 points. Kyler Murray looked unbelievable. So if they're the worst team in that division, it's a pretty darn good division. So pretty impressive stuff there.
Well, if you watched the Man Hour previously, you would have heard, I do believe Buck and I and Brandon all said Tennessee's a prime candidate to regress big time this year.
Yep.
Okay. So not necessarily favorites of the South, according to you guys.
No, and
Nope.
King Henry's not even top 10 running back in the league this year.
Well, fatigue could be a real thing for him, certainly. Not a great start. He seems like one of those guys that gets stronger as the games go on and the season goes on, but I think that could be true. Maybe this is the year he kind of breaks down.
Yeah, maybe. Number 4, who do you got?
So number 4, maybe a bit of a controversial pick here, but I think they did a great job in week 1, and they beat a team that had really high, as the Pittsburgh Steelers. I had them 8 in my initial rankings. I think this defense is going to be back to the kind of steel curtain, high pressure, high turnover type of defense that Mike Tomlin typically runs, and even going back to the days of Bill Cowher and back to the 70s as well. I think this has the potential to be a top 5 unit. Roethlisberger didn't look great. The running back Najee Harris didn't have a ton of yards either, but I think they could grind out these kind of wins, and the offense will find its footing eventually. If they could win games like 24-16 and things like that, while the offense kind of develops, I have a lot of faith. I think I said this last week, Buck. They've only had one losing season in the Mike Tomlin regime. I have a lot of faith in this guy, and I don't think it's going to happen this year. So maybe higher than a lot of people had them, but I believe in this team.
And I believe that losing season was only 8-8, so it wasn't technically a losing season, right?
Non-winning is what I should have said. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree that the Steelers should be in the top 10. I mean, they beat the Buffalo Bills. They come back from 10 points down in the second half, and their offense kind of came to life a little bit in the second half. But having them jump four spots is I think that's kind of a big jump, just a tad bit, just because what you had the Bills. Well, I mean, I guess you had the Bills at 3 last week, so maybe that kind of warrants it a tad bit. Speaking of number 3, who do you have at number 3?
So number 3, I have the Los Angeles Rams. Sunday Night Football, they took down the Bears. It was really a pretty disappointing Sunday night game for, I think, a lot of people. Matt Stafford looked great in his debut with the team. The defense was a number one unit in the NFL last year. Obviously, they lost Brandon Staley, who's the coach of the Chargers now. But I still like a lot of the personnel, obviously led by Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, a few other guys. The offense looked really smooth to me. I saw some rankings that had these guys in the top spot. I'm not quite ready to do that just yet, but I definitely think this is a Super Bowl contender. Sean McVay looks like he's got his play calling chops, his confidence going. So I really like this team.
Yeah, and judging by last week, I think the Rams do have better defenses than the Chiefs and the Bucs moving forward, especially since the Bucs lost their cornerback from last year, and that kind of puts a big hole there. Tori, what are your thoughts about the Rams jumping up 2 spots to number 3?
I like it. This is a complete football team. It is one of the most complete football teams, and again, if you told me the Rams are going to win the NFC West, I'd been like, okay. I have them also at 12-5 in that division this year. Like, literally, it does not matter from that division. You know, the fact that all 4 of those teams are in the top 10 should tell you how good that division is. I mean, we haven't talked about one of them yet, but I'm assuming they're at 1 or 2. If not, I would run you right off the show.
Well, you are going to be ran off the show because the Kansas City Chiefs and Bucs are still at number 1 and 2. But, I'm not going to spoil anything because I don't know, but I'm assuming – who do you have coming in at number 2?
So number 2, I kind of kept it chalk here. I have the Kansas City Chiefs. They struggled in the early part of that game against the Cleveland Browns, but they found a way to win the game. That downfield passing attack is looking as good as ever. Mahomes look really good out there. I think the defense did enough, especially in the second half, to kind of get the ball back, get a couple of turnovers there. I still think this team is definitely a Super Bowl contender, and they're kind of going to be there at the end of the day.
Tori, what are your thoughts about Kansas City Chiefs coming at number 2?
They suck. They're not a good football team. They're horrible.
They are a horrible football team.
I'm just kidding. I am not. My name is not Michael Buckheister. I don't take garbage takes like the Detroit Lions are going to win the NFC North.
They are 10-7. But let me speak.
Next year. Maybe next year, but not this year.
So let me speak as a Kansas City Chiefs fan. As a Kansas City Chiefs fan, as a team as a whole, they are a slightly above average team because the defense right now is just not very good. For whatever reason, the defense doesn't turn on until about week 9, week 10. And with the Honey Badger being out week 1, that shows you how big a hole he fills on that defense. Now if you're strictly judging power rankings by are they going to win and are they going to go deep? Yeah, they're definitely a number 2, if not a number 1 team. But as just like a team as a whole, Tori, honestly, they are probably a 13th, 14th ranked team in all of the NFL. But the offense, catapults them up to that number 2 spot, in my opinion.
You got elite playmakers at every skill position. So.
Right, yeah. Exactly right. So number 1, I'm assuming it's probably the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, unchanged.
Yeah, you'd be right. It might not be the most wild thing to do or, whatever, but I think a lot of people thought they would win that game against the Cowboys in the season opener by 2 touchdowns. They won it by 2 points. But I think Dallas showed a lot more fight than was expected. Tampa's defense, I think, could fall off a little bit from the perch it was. They were playing great last year, but like you just were kind of saying about the Chiefs, this might take them a few weeks to kind of find their footing and really develop some chemistry, especially with Sean Murphy Bunting, I think is the guy who went down. Yes. He was a key piece for them last year. But still, they got the win, so I don't really want to knock them from that top spot just yet. They're the defending champions, and I think it just might take them a little bit of time to gel, which may seem weird because I know they brought back all their starters, but it's the first week, so I kept them on that first spot, but they're going to need to be a bit more impressive if they want to remain there.
So just some insights here. I played on a team where we brought literally everybody back because we had, I think, 3 seniors, and it took a while for everybody to learn their new roles, just because some players have outstanding years, some people have step back years, so you have to find your new role. So you can bring back everybody you want, but it still takes 4 or 5 weeks to get acquainted with everything. And then with Murphy Button going down as well, I believe it's a rookie or a second year guy taking his spot that had very few reps last year. So Tori, Tampa Bay does come in at number 1. Are you shocked by that at all?
What I'm shocked about is you talking about it takes 4 or 5 weeks, when last night I talked about 4 or 5 weeks to get going, and you're like, no, this, like, you literally just did a complete 180 from last night.
So Tori,